What do people yet on the list? Just in them down there.
Hey, did they tell you that they're using it for CES today?
Yes, they do see that. But, what card for piano?
I'm trying to find mine right now. Here's mine.
We have to go. We have to go.
Yes.
What's going on?
As good as I'm going to be, as long as I got my oxycodone. Bah oui, j'ai dit la qu'il remonte.
Qu'est-ce qu'il fait? Il filme?
You're filming?
Yeah.
What for?
Il filme quoi?
What are you filming?
Je suis pas d'accord.
Re-employees.
Tu peux d'accord?
Non, il doit demander l'autorisation, le droit d'image.
You have to ask people if they're okay. If they feel they're okay.
Well,
you film them.
they're federal employees.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they're okay. You're sure they'll be? They'll say that you're okay filming.
Well, their guidelines say that they're okay filming. I don't know if they're personally okay with it, but
It's up to you.
Ouais, quoi?
Il dit qu'il a le droit parce que c'est des employés fédéraux.
Oui, mais il y a des employés, oui, mais pas les gens qui passent.
The employees, so it's okay, but not the people. But the people that go around, are
Well-
they part of your family?
No, no. And are you from the United States?
No.
In the United States, you can film anything you can see in public, and this is considered a public space,
Uh-huh.
and you have no expectation of privacy in public.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So all the people are supposed to be show
It's
themselves completely.
yeah. It's
independent.
part of the First Amendment of the
Which is- oh,
Constitution.
right.
It's under freedom of press.
Okay, I see. And are you a part of the press? A
Well,
journalist?
technically, anyone with a camera is part of the press.
I see what you mean.
You don't have to be credentialed, otherwise the government could say who's allowed to film and who can't. You know.
Okay. Du coup, le premier amendement de la Constitution, ça a le droit de filmer qui tu veux. I'm just telling my husband because in France it would be forbidden.
Yeah.
But it's also helpful in case you find some people that are mysterious, right?
Yep. Yep. You know.
You can tell
People
the press if they're-
people are usually less likely to be aggressive towards you if you know if they know they're on camera. You know.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I see what you mean.
I don't expect any aggression here in the airport, but you know.
There could be. There could be. You've heard of the Paris attack, right?
Yeah. Terrible.
Last year, wasn't it in the air? No, it was in Brussels. It was. But it could happen anywhere, where there is a mob, where there are many people. Okay, well, go on.
Have a good flight.
But you do it for a purpose, though. You do it for you?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that everyone was okay with it, and no one was going to try and stop me. So.
Surprised they didn't stop you.
Well, they legally they really can't.
Yeah, but they can give you.
They can try to stop me, but it seems that they're not going to, which is good.
Can I ask what's going on, sir?
Yes.
Why are you filming our checkpoint?
I don't really want to answer any questions.
But why are you filming our checkpoint?
I don't really want to answer any questions.
Ask you that. Why are
You can ask, yes.
checkpoint? You've been cleared over 10 minutes ago. And you're sitting
Well, it's
here
been less than 10 minutes.
filming our checkpoint. Alvin. We have a young man that's been cleared about 10 minutes now, and he's sitting here filming our checkpoint. X-rays and everything.
Sure, is there a reason? Are you waiting for someone?
I'm not. I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
Are you waiting for someone? So are you flying out?
I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
I'm gonna ask you to leave my checkpoint, please.
You can ask. Yeah.
Well,
Well, this isn't a.
If you've already been screened, you should go to your gate.
Okay. What's your name?
You're obviously filming. You see my IDs and everything on.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Okay. See it right there?
Well, what if I have a disability?
Okay. Are you saying you have a disability?
Well,
Obviously, okay. We're communicating back and forth, and you appear to be fine. Obviously, if we're having a two-way conversation, you can hear me just fine.
well, I can hear you, but I didn't hear you say what your name was.
I'll be back.
Okay.
He didn't want to identify himself. What's your name, ma'am? She doesn't want to identify herself either.
Okay, you guys are good.
What are we filming?
I'm sorry, what was your name?
I said, what are we filming?
I didn't catch your name.
My name is right here. Right here. I wear it on me. What is your name?
I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
Are you traveling? Do you have travel documents?
I would not like to answer those questions.
Would you like to have the police come over and talk to you about it?
I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
Jack, call the police. Okay.
Am I breaking the law?
I asked you a question. You didn't answer me.
I also asked quite a few questions. You didn't answer me.
When the police come here, you can answer their questions.
Or I can choose not to.
Or you can choose not to. Let's see what they have to say when you get here, and you can have a cordial conversation with them.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
I showed you my name. Apparently you weren't quick enough to catch it. I wear my name right here every day.
What if
And
I
what-
have a disability and can't read?
Well, how would I know that?
Well, I'm asking you what your name is, and you're not.
I asked you what your name is. It's a two-way street.
Well, you're actually a federal agent, no? Are you a federal agent?
Am I a federal agent?
Are you?
Are you a
work-
federal agent?
I wouldn't like to answer to that.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're a federal agent, you have to identify yourself.
Really?
Well, I mean, you could just be someone trying to,
Yeah.
you know,
and you
annoy
could
me.
you could just be someone here trying to capture information that you have no authority to have.
I mean, if you're
Are
acting,
you struggling with conversing with me?
are you a government agent acting under the capacity of your of your.
What is your capacity here? Are you a passenger traveling internationally?
I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
Are you with somebody? Are you with somebody? Are you traveling with somebody? Or you have a travel companion?
I wouldn't like to answer those questions.
Why are you sitting here? How did you get here? Someone drop you off? Did you take a plane? Did you take a bus? Did you take the train?
I wouldn't like to answer any of those questions.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
Ask him his name. You know, it's a two-way street. He wants our name, but he won't give us his name. He won't tell us who he's traveling with. He won't tell us how he got here. He won't tell us where he's going. Are you a federal agent?
I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
Is somebody coming? Okay. Why can't we have a cordial conversation? I don't understand. Why can't we communicate with one another?
I think
Why
we're
can't
having
we-
a rather
why-
cordial conversation.
Why can't we share information? You're not sharing any information with me, but you want me to share information with you. That's not
Well,
a two-way street.
I've already shared all the information I have to with the T.S.A.
You've shared nothing with me.
Well, I mean, I've passed.
You've shared
I've passed-
nothing with me.
I've passed screening, so I've given all the information.
You haven't
that I'm
passed
required to.
screening. You're not. Where are you going? You have passed. If you passed screening, where are you going?
I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
Okay. Are you on medication?
Am I being detained?
Am I detaining you?
That's what I'm asking. Am I being detained?
Am I detaining you?
That's what I'm asking. Am I being
Is
detained?
someone keeping you from leaving?
That's what I'm asking. Are you keeping me
Is
from
someone
leaving?
keeping you from leaving?
That's what I'm asking. Am I being detained? Or am I
Are
free
you?
to go?
Are you?
Am I free to walk
Are
away
you?
right now?
Is anybody stopping you?
That's what I'm asking.
Is
Am I free
anybody
to go?
stopping you?
Am I free to go?
Is anybody stopping you?
Am I free to go?
Is anybody stopping you from
I don't
leaving?
know. Are you stopping me from leaving?
Have I done anything to stop you?
You don't have to physically restrain me in order to detain me.
I'm not detaining you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. No one's detaining you. I come over here to have a conversation with you, and you're totally uncooperative. Are you recording the conversation? You know that's against the law. You can't record the conversation. It's against the law. You could be prosecuted for that. Did you know that?
I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
You haven't wanted to answer any questions at all since I sat down next to you and tried to be cordial to you.
I would say that's an accurate statement.
That is an accurate statement. All we've been doing is trying to share information, and you're sharing absolutely nothing with me.
Well, I've asked you for information as well that you haven't shared.
But you've shared absolutely nothing with me.
Okay. Am I required to?
Why not? I'm not required to share any information with you, just in having a conversation.
Well, if you're a federal agent acting under capacity, you're required by law to
I
identify
never
yourself.
said I was a federal agent. You said I was a federal
I
agent.
asked if you were, and you
You're
haven't answered.
demanding to know if I'm a federal agent.
I didn't demand anything. I asked if you're a federal agent.
You've
I'll
been
have to assume that
demanding
you're
ever
not.
since I sat next to you. And I know you're recording the conversation, and while you're doing that, you're breaking the law. You're breaking the law. You can't record a conversation without a court order. You didn't know that, did you?
I wouldn't like to answer any questions.
You didn't know that, right? You wouldn't like to answer any questions. Just because you have no answers to any questions.
I would say that's inaccurate.
I would say you're incorrect. Incorrect again. How we doing? We running out of video yet? Yeah, I know. We running out of conversation yet?
I wouldn't like to answer that.
No, as long as you know you're violating the law, that's fine with me. I can sit here and allow you to violate the law. I can sit here and do that with you.
Don't touch me, sir.
I didn't touch you.
Yes, you did.
You touched me.
You just, I'm moving my hand away from you. You moved all the way across my body. You're literally touching my leg right now. You're being very immature.
Am I?
Yes.
Am I?
If you're a federal agent, you are acting very immature in your
Really?
capacity.
Really?
Yes.
I think so.
That is my opinion, yes. Sir?
I need to X-ray your phone.
You just assaulted me, sir.
I
need your name.
No, I didn't
I need
assault
your
you.
name.
I took your phone.
That's
what I
you,
did. I
You
took your phone.
assaulted me. That is assault, and I want your name.
This guy's sitting here recording the entire checkpoint. He doesn't want to answer any questions. Finally, I just took his phone from him, and I think he has a mental problem. You can make that evaluation yourself, maybe ask him a few questions. All I did was sit down next to him and have a conversation with him the entire time we were waiting for you guys to come. And all I did was spend time recording me because I asked him about recording the checkpoint. Okay. So I'll leave it up to you guys.
How you doing?
I'm not doing well because this man stole my phone, he assaulted me, and
Oh, we just said you can leave.
You've
Okay,
never
thank
been
you.
detained, okay?
I was clearly
No, you're
detained.
not.
You were holding my property.
You're causing a scene here. That's why.
I was not causing a scene. I
Yes, you
had a
were,
very
because you were recording
I had
in
a-
a secure
I had a
area.
10-minute conversation, very cordial.
Were you
with-
recording through a secure area?
I was having a
Yes, you
very
were. You won't answer
cordial
that. That's why they
conversation
stopped you.
with
Go
a
to your
man
gate.
until he
Go to
assaulted
your gate
me.
before you're not going on your flight.
What is your name, ma'am?
Ortiz.
What is your name, sir?
Now,
And I want his name because he hasn't given it to me yet.
I don't know who he is, and I don't know who he works
Well,
for.
I'd like to file a complaint against him. I need his name. I'd like to
You
file a
talking about
complaint.
the T.S.A. agent?
I'm not. He never identified it or
Okay,
whatever.
There's his ID and there's his patch and it says T.S.A. man. It's not that difficult.
Absolutely unbelievable conduct by the TSA, Homeland Security, and everyone else involved. Absolutely appalling. They were doing so well, they left me alone for 10 minutes, and then someone decided to assault me. Absolutely unacceptable. This is in Chicago O'Hare. Absolutely unacceptable. I will be filing complaints and probably FOIAs. Okay, this is I'm going to explain what happened. When he put his hand up, the fellow who sat very close next to me, he, after, right at the end of the video there, he put his hand up and started blocking the camera, and so I moved my hand away and I extended it to arm's reach on my left side, and since he was sitting on my right side, he ended up coming all the way across my body. His shoulder was like in front of my face, right? And eventually he stood up and he's standing right in front of me and he's pressed up against my knees. I mean, I could not move. He's standing right in front of me and he's still holding his hand in front of the camera, right? And he brushed my hand slightly, right? I asked him not to touch me. And then he denied it, and I showed on camera that he literally was touching me. He looked right into the camera. I guess he lost his temper, and he snatched it right out of my hand. And then he says, I need to x-ray it. I'm already past the security at this point. This guy is a huge problem. He then, right around that time, the two police officers show up. Right, short guys. Must have been maybe 5'7", 5'8". He starts asking me all these questions. It started pretty calm. I was not yelling, but I was speaking in a very loud voice, maybe a little louder than what I am now. When they walk up to me, obviously they shut off the camera. As soon as the cop had the camera, he shut it off. And he said, he starts asking me most of the same questions he was asking me. It was the first TSA guy. And I'm asking for my property back. They wouldn't give it to me. He keep asking me all these questions, and they wouldn't give me my phone. And so I kept asking them if I was being detained. They wouldn't answer either, and they wouldn't give me my property back. So he, I'm sorry, I'm still really pissed off about this. I'm gonna calm down a minute. Eventually, he told me that I had to I had to show a boarding pass in order to, otherwise I would be arrested. I said, arrested for what? What crime have I committed? And he wouldn't tell me. In like 4 or 5 minutes maybe of him asking for my boarding pass, I didn't want to be arrested. He straight up, I asked him, you're going to arrest me for no crime? And he said, yes. I could not believe this. This guy, this is the police officer now. He's a huge problem. He starts getting very aggressive, telling me that I'm not in control of the situation. This guy was very aggressive, stands very close to me, and I'm still shaking. I take out my boarding pass and I hold it in my hand, right? And I say, I'll give you my boarding pass if you give me my phone. And he says, no, we're going to arrest you unless you give me your boarding pass. So I gave him my boarding pass. I gave it to the female officer. And she read the whole thing. She says, gate M2, okay. So I ask for my, she gives me back my boarding pass, and I ask for my phone, and they give it to me, and I ask if I'm free to go, and they told me I was never detained. I was like, clearly I was detained. You were threatening to arrest me. You're telling me that if I wasn't going to walk away right there without my phone because it was still confiscated from me? By the way, he never x-rayed my phone. He walked about 4 feet and gave it to a police officer. That was completely unacceptable. And not only that, it was going so well. I sat there for maybe 7 minutes. About 2 or 3 minute mark, I was like, this is going really well. No one's had a problem with me filming or sitting here. They had a whole row of benches there. Other people were sitting down after passing clearance. And no one, they had a problem with no one else. The first lady came and she asked me a question, then another one came and another one came. It's like all this for someone who's just lawfully filming. I could not believe it. By the way, the gap in video was only about maybe, I want to say 6, 7 minutes, maybe even less than that, around that amount. I wasn't taken into another room. I wasn't handcuffed. I wasn't searched. I didn't have to give ID. Or any of that. After I got my phone back, I decided to record each of their names and just get the hell out of there, because things were escalating, and I wasn't the one escalating them. I was remaining cordial, and everything was really calm until he physically just snatched my phone out of my hand. I was like, "What are you doing?" I couldn't believe it. One more thing, I gotta say, right before the video started, when I went through security, usually they ask me to go through or they don't ask, they tell you to go through the full body scan. You put your arms up and they electronically remove your clothes, and and I always decline that, and then I get groped for about 10 minutes. They have you in this catch-22. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know what that means, but where in any other situation in life, if you are tricked into having your clothes removed, that would be sexual assault or sexual harassment. But not here. You either have to have your clothes electronically removed, or you have to be, physically groped. And I did not have to do that this time. They just waved me onto the short line, and I just walked right through I took off my shoes and put my bag in a bin and put it through the thing. And I just walked through a metal detector, and it didn't go off, and that was it. And it was like maybe 90 seconds, I want to say. Like there was maybe one person on the line in front of me, and he was already done before I took my shoes off. So it was like everything was going so well until Mr. No Sense of Personal Space came along and started asking me all these questions and not answering any. And even then, I thought it was going to be okay. I thought he was going to, just lose interest. I'd never expected him to physically grab my phone. That escalated so quickly and unexpectedly. that's why we film, you know. In the future, I might have a second device that's recording, just so that they can't do that. Yeah, it was pretty scary, guys. Not gonna lie, I'm joking about it now, but that was pretty bad. I'm happy to be going home now. I'll say that. One more thing. That cop at the end, he said, "I was never detained." That was clear. That was absolutely false. That was an outright lie. He did that because I started filming again. He said that's why he said that. They multiple police officers, I think 2, maybe 3 of them, said, "You cannot go any farther unless you show me your boarding pass, or you will be arrested." That's the definition of a detainment. That's literally the definition of a detainment. Means I'm not free to go. I asked them if I was free to go. They wouldn't let me go. That's a detainment. Absolutely outright lie. See, now I'm sitting here, I'm wondering. Usually I have my boarding pass on my phone, but for some reason this time I went to the check-in desk and I had them print out a boarding pass. I wonder what would happen if I told them my boarding pass is on my phone, which you confiscated. Would they have given it back, or would they have tried to get some sort of hold it and try and get into it with a warrant, or see if it was unlocked and try and find my boarding pass themselves? That's an interesting thought I just thought of.